Live from the Griffin's Grill, you're listening to The Coaches Show, where you'll get all the latest news and notes from your three-time defending Sunset League champion, Los Alamitos Griffins. And now your host, Justin Connolly.
Live and back again this week from the Griffin's Grill. Welcome back to The Coaches Show, presented to you by Justin Connolly and Kent Backel, the Showdown Series, and the rest of the Los Alamitos Griffins. Coming into you live today after a big win last week. We were projected as an underdog going against an out-of-state team in Tempview, and we came out feeling really, really special after that night. Kent, you want to go into it?
Yeah, God, we sure did. Yeah, big 57-35 win over Tempview. They came in as the number 3 team in Utah, and that was before last week. And we'll go ahead and take this time to talk about a little bit of it. For the second straight game, the Griffins stormed out to an early lead just a few minutes into the ball game, led by a 28-yard run by Gerard Terry and a pick six to start the game by last week's guest, Carson Clark. Sets the tone right out the gate. Got to feel pretty good about ourselves.
Definitely. Carson had a huge play right there. He was just in coverage, kind of tracking behind the receiver, not necessarily behind, step for step with the receiver, but just behind the receiver. And as the receiver tips the ball, it's just like, I don't know what they say, like, great players make great plays, but sometimes great players are just in the right position all the time for the ball to drop in their lap, and it's something we've seen in the past with guys like John Newman. Like, you out of nowhere, boom, here's Newman, here's the ball, interception. Like, how did it happen? I don't know, but they got a knack for being around the football, and we could talk to Carson about it next time, but I want to say that when you're playing a route like that, you kind of baited the quarterback into throwing that, and it's, he was going to make that tackle. That's a safe tackle.
Right.
So bait the quarterback into throwing it. You get a chance at interception when you're a ball hawk kind of guy, make a play kind of guy. And we made an allocation for that this weekend. Everybody was getting hype about how Travis Hunter had so many plays on Saturday for Colorado's big win. And actually Carson had more plays for us between offense, defense, and special teams. So when you go against especially Tempview, that's the reason why we had so many plays. Both offenses just go, 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 go.
It was fast break. It was especially when you compare it to the last week's game against Lucerna and even the game before against Western. Even as a high-scoring game, the way the officials were part of that game, it just slowed it down to probably the slowest games I could ever recall doing. And then this was fast break. The officials weren't a big part of the game. It was just exciting. It was fun. And I'll tell you, it was a great game to call. It was probably a better game to watch. And when we get to the coaches, we'll say, well, how do you feel about coaching your side of the ball? And I bet they're going to be pretty excited about it. Offensive guys putting up over 50 points, they're going to be pretty excited about it.
Oh, no doubt. And I felt like for us, we were finishing each other's sentences. It was like, get one call in, and then it's the next play already ready to go. It was an experience in itself. And then we're up on the lift, and we're swaying back and forth. So afterwards, after being so excited all game, I definitely had some sore legs. I could feel we were moving a little bit on the lift, standing up. And
I felt like we're on a boat. You're on a boat, and then you got Coach Cobley over there on the other side giving me a call saying, hey, you guys need to go up higher. We don't be so low. And we're just kind of helping TJ Fenton out there because we know he doesn't really like heights, and our scoreboard operator didn't like heights, so we just kept a little low. And again, it was great. Cobley's getting interviewed, and actually, I was playing a Cobley interview, and he calls me up live and says, "Hey, dude, we're live right now. Just want you to back off a little bit, call defense, all right?"
The scoreboard operator didn't stand up a single time. He stayed sitting down, but good job by those guys making do with what we had.
After that 13-0 lead, Manoa Falpusa adds his second short run touchdown in as many weeks, put the lead out to 20-0. Then Alonzo Esparza finds Carson Clark for a 30-yard touchdown to close out the scoring in the first quarter. And the Griffins are well in control, 26-7. Tempview made a game of it. They came back with a couple scores to make it 26-21, and then just at the half, we had a Benji Gamarnik field goal to make it 29-21. Still a pretty good ball game at that time. Feels good, feels like, wow, this is a competitive game. At first, it felt like, wow, we're just going to run them off. We got to run them all the way back to Utah. But no, they came back and they felt, they played strong. 29-21 lead at halftime. How are you feeling at that time?
There was a big shift in momentum, and the momentum had shifted to Utah's way, to Tempview's way. About 4 minutes left to go in the half. That's when we got it to shift back our way. And that's a sign of a good team, Sometimes that's going to happen in a football game. Call's not going to go your way. Play's not going to go your way. A call and a play's not going to go your way.
Right.
Stuff like that happens, back to back to back. and you got to keep it together, keep your composure, play the next play. And realistically, that's where we showed, that we do have a really solid team, because we made through that little wave, withheld that, that rush from them. And then, from then on out, we kind of held that lead at a distance where we could take care of business. So it was about getting some stops there before the end of the second quarter, in which we did. And that was a good quarterback. It's not easy to stop a guy like that, and you're facing a coach who's not afraid to let the guy throw it 50, 60 times. So
this kid was a sophomore.
He's going to get his chances.
You're right. He's a sophomore. He's a 4-star. The only quarterback being recruited in the class by Lincoln Riley, who, as you recall, recruited another pretty good sophomore. He used to play for LaSalle a couple of years ago by the name of Malachi Nelson. So this is a special guy that Coach Riley's got his eyes on, and he showed it. He really showed up like he's a dude. He's a sophomore, still learning. But boy, I tell you, there's the stuff's there. When the dust settled, the offense ended up putting up 57 points and over 600 yards in total offense against a team that hadn't given up that much to either Corner Canyon or St. John Bosco. And that's Corner Canyon's number one team in Utah. And this is over in the past 15 years. So this was they're normally way better on defense than what they showed up. But the Griffins' offense was just overwhelming. To over 600 yards on offense against a team like that, that's special.
Yeah, they definitely tried to use some different disguises and coverages and stuff to stop the Griffins' big playability, and that ended up opening up some huge holes for the running game. Not just that, but just solid blocking all night. There was a good difference between the offensive line for us and the defensive line for them. I think that was a big, standout for us. We were moving them out of the way, and we were getting to the second level like we were supposed to, and the running back was hitting the hole real quick with Gerard Terry in there. A few different other guys getting an opportunity to carry the ball too. But really, when you're doing that, running game is strong, and then you're catching everything that's thrown your way, and your quarterback's not making mistakes, throwing interceptions. Like all night, Alonzo was just putting the ball in a place where his guy could go make a play. And that's what you want as a receiver, especially as a good receiver. You want those types. Like Devon made this epic catch, and it was after having the only drop of the season so far earlier. But then he makes this epic comeback catch where he bodies up and gets it low, and it's just drags a couple guys with him 5 more yards to the 1 yard line. And it's one of those highlight reel catches, but that's fuel by Carson going up and making these huge catches twice before that, and you kind of go after each other, and there's a competition there between each other of I don't want to be the guy to drop it. So you see these guys making these ridiculously crazy catches, and Alonzo's sitting back there, and he just put the ball where it needed to be so someone can make a play, and it ends up looking like Superman, and it's great because you could see his bravado just grew throughout the game. He didn't get cocky and say nothing crazy to the other team or anything. We didn't see him, do any pointing like we seen one week where he, let's cut that out of his game and just focus on offense, but really did a great job of leading the team.
This is fully agree with you. At the end of the day, he outdueled a 4-star guy by a wide margin. If you believe in this quarterback rating, which I do, quarterback rating just it takes into account the yards per attempt. The number of touchdowns. It's not just pure yards. It's yards per attempt. So you got to be efficient with your throws, and number of touchdowns and number of interceptions. So you've got Alonzo. His was 152, and the 4-star quarterback was 96. That's a huge gap. For a game for Alonzo, it was a huge game for him. Not only that, you've got his running ability. The running ability that's what kind of we expected. That's what I've expecting to see for a while from him, and boy, I'll tell you, it really showed up. He is running the ball, seemingly made every right decision. I don't think I can't critique a single decision he made running the ball. It seemed like every time it was the right decision to make.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think he did a good job, with his reads and taking that ball down and keeping the defense honest. That keeps the defense off you the rest of the time because it's taking them an extra second to think about what's going on here. Okay, do I read? Do I go after the pass? Do I go after the run? It's making them guess, and between the mixture of run and pass that we had going, the defense was on their heels the whole night, realistically, and they didn't have any big plays where it was somebody knocked somebody's head off because they were in the right position. No, we were kind of leading them where we wanted, and Deacon and Duncan, great game plan, can't be said enough. it's hard to even do that in Madden, right? To keep a consistent flow with your players, you got to know your guys well, and that's an interesting thing that we're going to talk to TJ about tonight. Is like you have all these weapons now. Usually, you're looking in the cupboard for like, where's that extra knife? And I need one more weapon. Right now, that's not the case, and so then it becomes a whole different problem flipped on top of its head of like, okay, how do I make sure that we keep all these guys active so that they're really booming at all speed?
Well, you're speaking of another knife in the cupboard. Gerard Terry leads the way on the ground in relief of Anthony Legue, 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carson Clark dominant again, receiving 7 grabs, 155 yards and 2 long touchdowns. He's stepping in for Jamiron Baker. Again, another knife in the cupboard. As the alpha, he's the alpha receiver now this year. You've got Devon Mitchell, 5 catches for 118 yards, another long touchdown. He had more yards taken off with another penalty. It seems like whenever he's got a chunk play, he's got there's a flag over there to wipe it out. Didn't see where that flag came from, but it almost seems like he should be gaining flags for as many guys that are mugging him whenever he gets the ball. It's pretty wild. We could talk about that with a tight end coach. I'm sure he's got that one figured out tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I was causing a ruckus with that one too. The flags were so late on those specific passes to Devon. So yeah,
one of the things that really is kind of it's hard not to compare this year's team versus last year's team. So one stat I looked at I thought was really really wild was that the Griffins have already had 12 touchdowns of over 25 yards this season so far in the first 3 games. Last year, we only had 5 through the first 3 games. That's with all the superstar guys, all the SC guys. We got more than double that already in 3 games. And last year's team had ended up with like 32 25-yard touchdowns plus, those are explosive types of plays. Those are kind of fun. Those are in baseball parlance, that'd be like a 3-run home run.
Those sell the tickets. They sell the tickets. People come back for those,
and they're so much more fun to call than a 3-yard touchdown, right? Right? You got a lot of things to say. He's going to the 60, the 50, all the way to 20. A 3-yard run is like he's got dives in for the 3-yard touchdown. It's not as much fun for me anyway.
You did a great job with that, Ken.
Yeah. This week's the Griffins are at Cerritos College on Friday. We take on number 10 Sirr. Friars are 2-1 this season with their sole loss coming to undefeated Rancho Cucamonga. They'll be looking to avenge last year's 47-14 division at Vet Stadium. Elsewhere in the Sunset League last week, Corona Del Mar dropped their first game of the year to Palos Verdes 14-11. Fountain Valley and Newport Harbor both won to join CDM at 2-1, while Huntington Beach dropped a tough one to move to 1-2. Edison was on a bye week but dropped some news this past week that last year's Sirr head coach Troy Thomas has joined their coaching staff there, and together with the Charger former head coach Dave White. Boy, that's a pretty formidable staff that got put together there.
Yeah, it's Star Wars reuniting over there.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. I
think
know
they got the Griffins in their. I don't know. It seems to me like they got the Griffins in their sights.
I already was talking about this all off season. I said I kind of seen the writing on the wall. Those guys, they all, a lot of sharing of players in that area, and good guys that go and exchange with the different travel programs and stuff. And both those guys are like-minded coaches, good guys. So it takes the horses, so they say, not just on the field but the minds as well. Behind the horses to get it all done. And Edison is a destination school. It's a beautiful school. They've got a great history and whatnot, and, they're trying to keep up. So good on them.
You'll want to check out the great review by Sunset Rewind team on their YouTube channel. And speaking of Sunset Rewind, this year's game program is on sale. Make sure you buy some, support the program. It's a very high-end program for the entire Sunset League with great features from players from every team. Also, go check out the LosAlFootball.com website that RepMax has put together. It's one of the best-looking sites around. It's also a great place to bookmark to catch the link to our coverage of Los Alamitos Griffin football as well as this show throughout the season.
And real quick, Ken, we got to give a big shout-out to Tron. Jamiron Baker officially committed to USC. That shows you, like we talked about, Carson has this opportunity to be this big dog receiver this year, and that he is. We're seeing it, no doubt. But Tron, is supposed to be that other side of that. Tron, going through an injury, but without a doubt, the schools have stuck by him, and he's made it very clear in the past, especially working with them this offseason at some local events, that he wants to be an SC guy, and he got to live that dream.
That's great.
We heard all this about the quarterback possibly going out there, his whole team going out there to go see the game and whatnot, and then we came back with this great news on Saturday that Tron had committed to USC, and that's one you can stamp. You don't have to worry about him flipping.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, let's take a quick timeout. We'll be back with tonight's guests, Coaches TJ Fenton and Mario Morales.
The Showdown Series hosts athletes from all over the western United States to come and compete in highly organized, efficiently run 7-on-7 and 5-on-5 tournaments with 100% CIF-trained officials. We pride ourselves on having tournaments that start on time, run on time, and stay on time. You can expect to complete pool play and single elimination playoffs all within 5 hours. The Showdown Media Group provides free content to each team and has recruiting services at all our tournaments, including 24/7 sports and national preps, which connects with over 270 colleges for our athletes. Catch us on the web at www.theshowdownseries.com.
And we're back. Oh, you turned me down. Bring 2 back up. Bring down 4. There you go. You're good. Perfect. And we're back from the Griffin's Grill. Super excited tonight to have 2 coaches on first before the players, Coach TJ Fenton and Coach Mario Morales. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Can't complain. Super excited to be on. Thank you guys for having this, and obviously your coverage every week. Really appreciate it.
TJ, before we get going, I got to give you a very belated but heartfelt congratulations on your new marriage.
Thank you very much.
How's your wife like in being a football coach's wife? That's the big question.
It's funny. So she's from Arkansas, and she loves football. And when down in the SEC, it just means a little bit more. So when the Razorbacks are on, she yells at the TV the same that I yell in the booth on Friday night. So it's become a perfect togetherness that we have. And thank you very much for our marriage. We're obviously loving it so far.
Oh, my God. To marry a football wife, too? Oh, that is – no wonder you got married so quick.
Absolutely. And she's very spirited on the sidelines. And,
really?
Yeah, we have some fun drives home after the game, which is good.
We got to get her up on it. You know, when at halftime, she's got to come on up. We
Let's
got to get
do
the
it.
wives. Yeah, have her come on up, and you'll be downstairs doing your deal, and you'll see her being interviewed, either at Vets or Sirr College. We got to have her up. That'll be so much fun.
So just checking you guys in. This is the first time we've had you, Coach Morales. Talk a little bit about your history, what you were doing before making it to Los Al, and then now you're here coaching tight ends, correct?
Yeah. So, I've been around the Long Beach area a lot. That's kind of where I started my first coaching. I was an assistant at Wilson, Long Beach, and eventually got the head job there. I was there for 8 years. And then right after that, I was the head coach at St. Anthony in Long Beach as well, at the private school. And then did
my alma mater.
Oh,
I was a Saint for 1 year anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
you probably got in trouble, got kicked out of school. we won't talk about that, right?
I ended up going to Lakewood. So.
Which is where I'm at now. I actually teach full-time at Lakewood. So, mutual friend of Matt Nuez, Coach Nuez, had talked to me a little bit, and we started some communication and potentially of a job opening up, and then it all worked out. And so here I am, and I'm super excited.
Oh, great for her going to be part of.
And you just happened to come into this program and, you get this great news. I'm not sure if it's before you came or right after you came, but you're working with a guy, and Devon Mitchell, who's just the top tight, happens to be the top guy in the nation at tight end. What do how does that happen? How do you feel about that when you get that news, and how did that go down?
Well, I told my wife I have the easiest job on staff. I just show up and let him do his thing and go home. No, it was exciting, because we've all coached good kids in the past, but to be able to coach a true 5-star and the skill set level that he has and things that he does in practice were just like wow. But just to be a part of that and to help him out a little bit in any way to help him get better, just love being in that position. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful person.
Yeah, he's fun. He's fun to be around. He definitely was good when we had him on the show, and then you can see him down on the field. He's infectious, just the way he plays and his energy in general. He's a big dude, so, when you see a guy going all the way for you, dragging 5 guys into the end zone, it gets you going, especially some of these other guys who are real talented on the team. Like I was telling Kent, they really compete against each other. You see, there's not too many drop passes because it's I almost feel like it's the boys, whoever drops the pass first and it's you, so they're at that level where it's almost next level and it's fun to watch. And TJ, we kind of roll into that with both you guys. You guys have this ability to coach such a talented team, but in the past we've watched us make the most out of having this guy gone or this guy gone. Now there's so many weapons around that you almost have to figure out who do I need to give a breath to right now so that I can get another weapon on the field and give them a chance as well? How's that going for you as an offensive coordinator?
I'm super blessed. I think as a coaching staff, we're super thankful every single day. The kids that we get to work with, and not only are they super talented, but they're just great kids, and they make practice so much fun. And I think I've laughed harder this year at practice than I have ever, just because they're saying funny things or something fun comes up that happens. And so we're loving it. I think big thing is that having so many guys that can do like special things with the ball in their hand, it's awesome as a play caller, right? You just feel like the entire menu is open at all times. But the biggest thing is just stressing that we are a team. And on offense, we just have to do our 1/11th, right? And so every person has one job. And if all 11 guys do their one job, we ended up putting together a pretty good play, which puts together a pretty good drive, which hopefully puts up a lot of points on the board. So even in our pass concepts, right, we have a lot of skilled guys who could get the ball in every single play, but they're all working to get the other guy open, which just shows unselfish football, right? Like, I might be the number one read in the progression, but the only reason I'm open is because number two did their job, and that's what got the safety to drive, and now I'm open for a bigger post. So it really is, I mean, football is the ultimate team game. I think that's why we all love it so much. But to see such a close group of offensive players who want to do the best for everybody else around them and not just worry about their stats and numbers, but to do their job, we've been pretty fortunate so far.
Well, Coach, you brought up something I'd like you to expand on a little bit, and that's, running that route that gets the guy open. Mm-hmm. People listening in may not understand what that really means. So just in layman's terms, how would you describe exactly what's happening there?
Yeah, so in every single concept, right, we run patterns, so they all kind of rhyme and move together. So if we have one player who's running a vertical route, right, he's running a 9 route, he's running straight, and the player on the inside of him has a speed out that they're both running in the same area, and they're putting one defender in conflict. So is the player in conflict, is he going to bail and take away the vertical route, or is he going to drive on the speed out? But those two guys are working together. If the vert doesn't run hard, in theory, the player that's in conflict could cover both of them. If the speed out doesn't run the correct depth or the correct route, then again, we're lost in we miss that conflict to put the defender in. So
and it
really
could put the quarterback in a bad position because he's having to wait now an extra second or so, and now the pressure's getting to him because somebody ran a slow route or the wrong route, right?
Absolutely. And someone is going to come open, right? Anytime you put a defender in conflict, he has to choose which one is he going to take. And that's how you get guys. Sometimes guys get the ball more than others, right? If the defender keeps making the same choice of I'm going to take the vert, then that speed out might have a really big game. Fast forward to the next week, you have the corner who's only going to drive the speed out, and we keep taking the vert over the top. So it's the same concepts, right? But just ebb and flow and taking what the defense gives us and being a good teammate when maybe sometimes that night the defender's playing you a little bit more than he's playing your teammate, but being happy for his success, knowing that his big catch is because you ran your job.
Got it. So, Coach, you're on the sidelines, and Coach Fenton, you're up in the booth, in the booth or the skylift, whatever you want to call it at that time. So, Coach, you're on the field and you're seeing this kind of stuff. Are you making those corrections down on the field? Because I know you really can't do that up in the booth, right? I mean, it has to be. I would assume you're doing that, Coach, or Coach Bo, right?
Well, it's not so much the corrections; it is seeing what's going on. He talked about the ebb and flow of the game and what's going on. What are they doing defensively versus this formation? Or when we motion, what do they do? Do they drop the safety down? Do they keep him over? Do they shove? Things like that. So for me, I like to see what they're doing defensively. I don't like to talk too much because I understand what he's doing because TJ does a phenomenal job coordinating. I don't want to cloud his brain and saying, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? Although sometimes I still do. But TJ just does a phenomenal job. And, again, it's the ebb and flow piece of it that we like to see. The whole flow of it is going good. If he asks us anything, we're happy to talk to him about it. But we're there really just to support. Does he see what we see and vice versa? Yeah. And then at halftime we get together and we just chat about it and see, hey, are there any adjustments we need to make or whatever? But there's really not that much communication during the game as there is at halftime and, of course, after the game.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm super fortunate to have an amazing staff around us, and I think that our conversations on their headsets are so valuable because the worst thing is that there's a lot going on, right? And having a really loud headset and everybody yelling and screaming at the same time can cause some true chaos where we do a lot of our work sometimes just in between, right? When the defense is on the field, we're talking about a lot of things of, hey, what did you see? What did I see? And two, it is a different game, right? When you're in the box, it looks a little bit different than when you're on the field. Or, I mean, they can see things that I can't see. I can sometimes see things that they can't see, where we kind of really work together and gel together as a staff and really hopefully put the best product and put our players in the best position possible.
You're right. Up in the booth, we got the guy with the golf sign that says quiet, so we get to concentrate fully. They're down there in the chaos, right?
Right.
I mean, it's got to be tough for you down there with that.
Yeah, yes and no. But, again, we go back to TJ because – I love what he does. And one of the big things that I really noticed is he finds a way to create matchups. We'll watch film on the weekends and say, hey, I like this matchup. Maybe we put, this player out here this week. Like Vaughn, as you guys noticed, we had them all out isolated on a corner out there. That's TJ. Things like that are just great to see. And when it comes to fruition, when that player makes a big play due to a matchup, it feels good that all the pieces are coming together. And, again, that's all TJ. Does a great job coordinating, finding matchups. Not only finding matchups, but creating matchups. That's, I think, a big key that an offensive coordinator needs to understand how to do, and he knows how to do it.
Coach, I'm going to stop you here. We are a we, and in no way there's one person on the staff. It's an entire offensive unit. We are a we. We're in the office on the weekends. We're constantly bouncing all the ideas off of each other. To have a staff with so much experience is so valuable because there's a lot of different tools in a lot of people's toolboxes, right? And we all bring it together to put the best thing on the field. And so don't even listen to him. Don't. That was false. We're a true we.
A lot of times down there, you're getting that side view from the sideline, and you get a lot of input from the players, but also getting to see that line play right there from the line of scrimmage. That can be of the most valuable information that you can feed back to TJ. This week we had just I couldn't have called one spot that I seen a weakness with the offensive line. Of course, we had a couple holding calls. I don't know where those came from. I have no idea. Those came from, the skies above. There was some that saved them a few times. There was probably some that we deserved, but for the most part, that offensive line played very well. And we don't even, look down at times to see, who's in there helping. Is Vaughn coming down having help sometimes? Is there somebody else who's coming, like a running back who's coming down to help? We just take it for granted that the blocking's been really good, especially last game. What did you see down there, Coach, with your experience?
Well, same thing you saw. I think our guys are getting off the ball real well. We knew we had to be physical because we saw these guys on film. Tim Pugh is a physical team, and they came in with that reputation. And we told our guys, hey, you have to at least master physicality, and then you keep working throughout the game to raise that physicality level. And they did it right off the bat. Obviously we had a quick start. We got some points early, but it was really because up front we got physical, and they played well throughout the game, like you said. And to me, I couldn't be prouder of them. I'm an O-line guy at heart, even though I coach tight ends, and so I do watch them. And you're right. They set the tone early, and they played physical throughout the game. The physicality, to me, was the key.
Do you guys feel like that matchup with Sirr, the physicality that was present in that game, really kind of upped what we had in us? I think that brought a little bit of a dog out of us on both the offensive and defensive lines. And also, I've seen a big play time from just the whole defense as a whole. They couldn't increase their play to match the offense's play, and it's been very – the word I used, Kent, during the thing that Kent was giving me a hard time about it, I said it was a symbiotic relationship. These guys are, it's working well together, So everybody's happy with everybody because when the defense is doing their thing, Carson's going out there making interceptions, scoring early and creating some distance. And even though the defense having to spend a lot of time on the field going against an offense that's just go, 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 and then trying to make those substitutions, of course, against that had it been tough for the defensive guys. But at the end of the day, we just wore them down with our consistency at both sides of the ball. And do you guys see it as a team? It's nice to have a team that's just doing it all three phases of the game pretty well, isn't it?
I think so. I think that we've done a great job of having a commitment to all three phases of the game, and not just offense, not just defense and special teams, but true commitment as a team to focus on everything, because every play matters, right? Every snap matters, every inch matters, every 1/11th that you have. Right. Every single play matters. And so I love the defensive guys. As much as we like to chirp during fall camp back at each other and have some fun with that, they have our backs and we have their backs, and special teams has everybody back, right? And so just you string all that together, and hopefully you put out a pretty good football team.
Coach, I'm sorry. Talk about when things go south, when things don't go as planned. Sirr would probably be a good example of that for the offense. Mm-hmm. So talk us through that. So, the big difference between last week and this past Friday. Talk me through that. I mean, people out there, fans, wondering what happened. Why does this look like two different teams?
Yeah.
So what happens?
I think it was a big commitment going into Timpview to just focus on the 111th and to keep a quiet mind. And all you have to worry about is what your job is on this play and win your job. And then the bigger thing is trust the guy next to you or around you to do their 111th so you can do your job, right? And we talked about O-line play. It all starts up front.
Right.
If those 5 guys don't do their 111th, we'll never run a play, right? We'll never get our play across or really have any success. But from a skill position, you need like a receiver, right? Our receiver did a really good job with our running backs, but they're often the last part of the play. They get the last 60 to 100% of whatever play it was, but there are guys who put their bodies on the line from 0% to 60% to put them in that position. And so really just trusting the guy next to you to do his 111th, to do his job. And 2, for you as an offensive player to not worry about anything else. You don't need to worry about what the other guy's job is because you have your hands full being perfect at your job, right? If you just worry about your 111th, you stack enough 111ths together, you have a good play, good drive, points on the board.
One of my favorite movies called Replacements. They brought up a particular line called quicksand. So I would imagine you guys as coaches, when you're going through that long stretch against Lucerna, where it just felt like, God, I can't get out of this. It's just I'm in this funk. I can't go.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we pulled through it. I mean, you could tell. Okay, we flipped the switch in the fourth quarter, and the game's over. What happened? Were you guys doing something, or did the team just somehow figure it out? What happened?
Well, what I would say is, and what I truly believe, is that our kids just kept hanging in there. They kept believing, We always tell them, hey, don't worry about that last play. The most important play is the next play. And with that attitude, eventually we're going to get to that point where we can hit that next gear, which Gerard did, and he hit that big touchdown for us and got us going. And then it was kind of like, all right, this is what we kept working for. It happened. We knew it was going to happen. It's a confidence thing, not an arrogance thing.
Right.
And so to me, that's the way the game progressed. Yeah, there was a lull, so to speak, and we're like, what the heck's going on? We were feeling it too, but as were the players. But at the end of the day, they understood that, hey, we keep hanging in there. We keep believing, we trust the process. Things are going to turn out right, and it did. So, that was something really cool to see.
That had to be pretty rewarding, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and just facing adversity is such a part of the game. Just football as in life, you're going to face adversity. And how you handle it, just keep staying in there, keep doing what you can do, control the controllables, and it ends up paying off, right? I mean, that's just love the game of football because it's such a caveat of life, right? I mean, you see these guys going through life situations at 16, 17, 18 years old when it's really just facing adversity, right? When you think that everything's going not your way, right? You're facing adversity. How do you respond? How do you maintain? And how do you persevere during that time? And we've been fortunate to have a positive success at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, also just the defense came, that Lucerna game, they had their business suit on. And I really liked their confidence in what they were doing. And they just were set out on a mission, and it gave us the space on offense that we needed to continue doing what we want to do, not what we have to do or not what we have to pull into our bag for. We just seemed like we kept on our mission for that day, and then things worked out. And that's because guys do, have a blocking scheme, and, you don't get to that block, that secondary block in the first quarter sometimes not in the second quarter. But when you go and you seal that block the right time and Gerard's got the football, oh, my gosh, it's over. Like you said, it's that 9th, 10th, and the 10th, and now the 11th, 11th, sorry, the 11th does their thing,
Math
and boom, I fixed it before then, right? But all 11 guys get in there, and then you see them go ecstatic too because they get really excited. We've seen that all summer, 7-on-7s, even till now. They're a team who likes to score, and what I've liked about them too is when they score, they're pretty professional about it. So that's cool too. It's nice to see. It's great for the community as well because Los Al, I feel sometimes unfairly gets a little bit of a rub for enjoying our fun a little too much, and this team seems to be on a mission this year to just get that job done. And we like the lessons are being passed down, like you said, that week. Just focused on being the 111th and kind of took it down a little with Lucerna. We were chippy. We wanted to be chippy. We wanted to match their heat, and that it didn't serve us. It served us better versus Timpview to just do our thing. So Great job coaching.
Yeah, that really to see that remarkable change was outstanding from this year. I've seen a few games, and I just love seeing it. It was really neat. It felt that's all coaching. That's all during the week. It's all practice. And I mean I mean it sincerely. It's not the X's and O's. It's what you're doing to get these kids to do the right thing. It's the how to handle adversity, and I really appreciate that. I think that's the best part for me. Win or lose, I love seeing that. I love to see that improvement that you guys did. And it's okay to take a bow, Coach. Look,
we are a we. From coaches to players, we're always a we.
Well, when the we put up 57 points and dropped 600 yards on total offense on that team, you could take a bow. The we can take a bow. Heck, we were taking bows up in the step in the booth. You kidding?
It was scary up there. I am not a scissor lift fan, but playing at home was awesome.
Wasn't it?
Playing on John Barnes Field is the greatest.
It
is. Man, the kids love it. I think the community loves it. We always have big crowds, and the seating in the end zone, cool. All of it was so awesome.
I like how there's 2 entrances, one for the student body and one for the regular people, and then the food was good. Everything was on board. It just hit the spot. Everything was there early, and it was something special. We'll have to figure out how many more lifts we need so that all the media can do their thing. But we had a good time, no doubt, calling it from up there, and we might need to replace the score guy because he was a little scared up there. So we'll let him talk for himself.
I was scared too. It's okay.
But we want to say a big thank you to you guys. You're holding it down for the team. Coaching's one of those jobs where we always give TJ a big time and try to hype him up throughout the off season and during season. But Coach Morales, we love to meet the new guys that are coming around, and we hope to have a long tenure with you. Have you here every year talking to us about whatever tight end class it is that we have, and a little bit more of that coaching knowledge each time. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you
guys for coming on.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, any shout-outs to anybody out there or anything to say to the kids of the team?
First off, to my daughter, University of Utah. She's a big Ute out there, having a long time. And she's having a great time, and she thinks they should be number 1 right now, but we'll talk later about that. But no, just to all the guys in the team, we love you, as coaches, and just keep working and getting better every day.
Yeah, same thing. All offensive players we get to work with. Every day we come to work, which is our job, right? And we love every second of it because we get to work with great kids. So to all of our players, everything we do is for you guys. We love you guys, and thank you for being you, and we're excited for the rest of the ride.
And ASB has just been absolutely crushing it as always. Every year we just kind of take the Locos for granted because they're so good, and I don't think there was one space of fencing that wasn't covered by a sign. So thank you for everything you do there, and big shout out to ASB and everybody else who's keeping that going as well.
Absolutely. Got to do a big shout out. So I'm actually out of ASB this year. So,
wow.
Mr. Berger and Ms. Shaneker are in an ASB, and they are doing a phenomenal job. So big shout out to them, the Locos. It's so fun. I mean, obviously I'm not in the ASB classroom, but I'm still seeing all the ASB kids. I've taught them throughout the years, and so it's still a great relationship, and they're doing a great job. So they're in good hands.
He has so many weapons, he can't focus on ASB.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to focus on more offensive schemes. I like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Moving on up. All right, we're going to take a quick break from you guys, and then we'll be back for the second half of the podcast, and we'll be joined by junior linebacker and running back Anthony Legue and linebacker Sirr Bible.
The Showdown Series hosts athletes from all over the western United States to come and compete in highly organized, efficiently run 7-on-7 and 5-on-5 tournaments with 100% CIF-trained officials. We pride ourselves on having tournaments that start on time, run on time, and stay on time. You can expect to complete pool play and single elimination playoffs all within 5 hours. The Showdown Media Group provides free content to each team and has recruiting services at all our tournaments, including 24/7 sports and national preps, which connects with over 270 colleges for our athletes. Catch us on the web at www.theshowdownseries.com.
You're gone, Jim.
And we're back from the Griffin's Grill. We're in our quick break offense. We got an offensive guy and a defensive guy back on today. Super excited to have you, sir. Put that mic up real close to your mouth. We're going to check you in right now. You haven't got it. You haven't got in on these yet. How's it sound?
Sound good.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Anthony, how's it going, my man?
It's pretty good so far. How you guys doing?
Good. So with a proper introduction, tonight we have junior running back, primarily running back, but played linebacker for us last year, Anthony Legue, and Sirr, junior as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Junior linebacker, Sirr Bible. Both guys who, have been a consistent starters for us over the last 2 years, have been around the program doing their thing and really coming into their own on the offensive and defense side of the ball. The reason why we want to bring you guys in today is because you guys go against each other every day in practice. You guys get to really get physical. There's a pretty unique bond that goes on between a linebacker and a running back.
Right.
Talk a little bit about, as teammates, where you guys are at in life and how you guys feel about each other this week.
I say that it's usually a rivalry between us every day. See who could get better, who can improve the most throughout the day. If offense wins the day, then practice will be good. But if defense wins the day, then offense act like practice wasn't good at all.
It's a whole problem when offense loses. But when defense wins, it's everybody. It's a win for everybody.
I feel that as a defensive guy. I feel the same way. And you guys spent all off season, pretty much hand in hand training together. You got all the 7-on-7 stuff going on, but really doing all this extra stuff that we're seeing online and a ton of stuff we're not seeing. We're maybe seeing 10% of that, right? Of that iceberg where the rest of the work's really going on behind the scenes. Spending a lot of time together. Y'all ever get sick of each other?
Nah, this is a brotherly bond right here,
man.
It's funny. I first met these two guys over at Huntington Beach High School, up above. I think we're doing the Edison game. I think you're in 7th or 8th grade when I first met you both. Your dad brought you guys.
Oh yeah,
and it was neat to meet you guys. And back then, it's like you both told me, we're going to be Griffins, and I said, you know what? When you are, we're going to have you on the show one of these days. And here you are. Mm-hmm. Now they were small. They weren't little. I mean, they were already good size by the time they were even 7th or 8th grade. I forget.
4 or 5 years ago. Holy smokes!
I know. That's when I first.
That's
when I first met these guys.
My dad first started coaching at Los Angeles.
Yeah,
and then I met him. I think it was at Huntington.
It
right?
was at Huntington
in the stands.
Yep, you're right. Up there, and it was neat. I was like, man, it's good. I think you had a Los Al jersey on already. You had it all working. Yep. It was good. It was a good time.
So really a unique team this year. Obviously, we have this really good vibe. We all feel it. It's something you don't even got to talk about too much. You guys are just doing your thing. Last week coming out, it was a 10-point dogs to Tempview. I don't know if you guys seen it, but Cal Preps is pretty good on their margins. It's kind of like Vegas. And if you go on there and you put two teams against each other, it was like 7 points where the matchup was at and 10 points. And I'm thinking to myself, I know we're better than these guys. I know we're going to do our thing, but they're clearly good, and it's hard to see state to state how's that going to work out. But realistically, they came out, they try to run really quick on us. They try to, have some pace on the offense. It's even in extent of what we do, and we kind of just told them, nah, this is what we do. This is
right.
And we stayed strong, and on defense we were lights out, really.
Right. Yeah.
And
lock in.
Anthony, you got to do some coaching from the sideline, some seeing how everybody else gets in after going in for like 300 yards a week before. We need to give you a little breather this last week. How was that going? We're watching Sirr from the sidelines and helping out on offense and defense, huh?
It felt good to be honorary coach of the team, telling everybody, helping out what they can see, what I see, and helping them get better and evolve, especially him.
Yeah.
I was on my head all game.
Is that right?
Yeah. Every time I got out or it was after a drive, Anthony was always on my head, telling me what I need to do, what reads I need to make, and yeah.
And I'm seeing like a lot of interchangeability with the linebacker group, right? Am I right there? Because I see Iverick, he's on the outside, he's on the inside. I've seen you go to the outside a couple times. I'm seeing you blitz from the inside. I'm seeing Kamar just go crazy everywhere.
So what that is, we all practice different spots. So I could play inside, but coach may want me outside. So I already know. We practiced that, so we already know.
Interchangeable.
Right.
You pretty much know every linebacker spot. You guys are at a point as linebackers in all your own game where you could just interchangeably switch.
So I got to ask you something. So then now,
that's interesting.
It really is. So you got so many linebackers that can play. So do you ever feel like, hey, I'm not 100% ready to go right now. Give me a breather. You tap it. Do you ever tap out or ask out when that happens, or do you still feel like, nah, man, I can't come out?
It kind of nobody has ever like really tapped out like that. They don't tap out like to the coach, but they go to the players. So it'd be like I need one.
Yeah.
And then I'll go or Misa or Kamar. But yeah, it's never tap on the head. It's just they just always tell the players, I need a breather.
That's a trust thing.
It
too.
really is. That's a special bond, and you know what? That's there's a word I use I really love called selfless. You're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about the team. You're thinking about, you are thinking about the team. That, hey, look, I'm not 100% right now. Give me a breather right now. And because I see it with running backs, receivers especially, they run a 9 route and they go, okay, I need a breather because I'm not even going to get back to the huddle in time.
Right.
So that kind of stuff with the linebackers, especially when you guys are so interchangeable right now, that's special. It is really special to see.
And we put this guy in sometimes, and he a dog. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So Anthony, what do you like better? You like playing linebacker or you like playing running back?
Personally, this season, I would like to play linebacker. I say I'm executing more on offense than defense, but I would play anywhere the coaches need me.
You'd rather play linebacker? No kidding, because you're the guy you just broke the scoring record, the single game scoring record in your first game.
Did you know that?
I don't know if you knew that.
I think I knew that on Sunday. I didn't notice I broke it that day because Coach Bo called me on Sunday. He was like, "Yo, we breaking records now." I was like, I broke a record. They was like, yeah, you broke the single player scoring record with 38 with that 2-point conversion.
It was a 2-point conversion.
I was like, oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know I was able to do that. Then I saw on Twitter that Bruce was commentating on the post where I broke it, and the guy who originally had it, he was like, he needs 7 touchdowns, not a 2-point conversion.
Nah, that's not true.
He's full of it.
I checked it.
And then here's the thing, man. When it comes down to it, so you guys know, like, Kent, he put together the archives. Like, he knows every single little bit of the Los Al history after us being here for, almost a decade. And so that's a firm record. Each one of these records, we have a sheet for game day with each one of the records on it. And we know, and Kent will call it during the game, like, right away. We're probably the first to know. So he does a great job of making sure Steve Fryer knows, this guy knows, We knew right away, and it's pretty amazing. Each team, each year has broken different records, right? But it's always fun to see which team's going to get what and individual player-wise, who's going to get what too. So obviously that game was amazing. 300-plus yards on the night. Does that change anything for you? Like when you wake up the next morning, is it like DMs like, oh, man, great game last night? How does that go?
I would just say on Twitter they would be like, congrats on breaking a record. And I would say thank you. I felt great after that day. But as the end of the week comes, I'll be like, on to the next.
Yeah. All right.
So, Sir, are you going to get in there and play running back too?
Nah. Most definitely not. Running back, they got too much plays for me, so I think strictly defense.
That's awesome.
So that's a unique experience, too. Going back just a little bit, you guys were young pups, growing up, playing, travel ball and whatnot, but you knew where you wanted to go at 7th, 8th grade. You knew what was up, and you guys were watching the team already looking out. Did you feel like, walking in as freshmen, you guys were both going to have chances, and then you guys ended up being, really freshman, sophomore, a lot of playing time already, and it was something, truthfully, you guys prior to your guys' camp and class, and like the Malachis and Makais, it was not something we were used to. I don't think ever with this coaching staff did we ever see a freshman start or too many sophomores, and now it's like the norm for us. So you guys, having your minds about it and knowing where you wanted to go, do you feel like it's just made everything smoother throughout the process?
Yeah.
I would say because that's our freshman year. They were senior heavy, so we was all training in the offseason. Like, we have a higher chance of starting this year. And then we just started getting after it right when the season ended.
Yeah. Me and him, man,
and that's the conversations that really happen between players. I remember mine. Like, you get done with the season, you're like, all right, we already got some time.
Right.
Now we're the guys. You go in the weight room, now you're lifting harder. Yeah. You're going at it against each other. And I watched you guys. I mean, you came out to one of our events, a little professional event, really representing yourself, right? Jamarn, Tron went out there as well. There's a couple guys out there. They're going to text me this week. Tron just got his commitment done with USC.
Yeah.
Man, if you want to say something about that, that's a huge thing for your teammate,
I'm happy for him, man.
That's a great school
for him.
He loves that school.
And
we was talking about it on Friday.
I knew that he was going there.
Is that right?
Yeah,
all right.
I knew it.
Well, I can't wait to see you guys, too, when you guys both decide and whatnot. We're always here as a venue. If you guys want to let people know here, we'll make sure it's there. Or after you let the school know or everybody know, then you come on afterwards and we'll celebrate. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I got some football stuff for you, Anthony. All right, so you've already busted off a bunch of big runs in your game against Western. I don't know if you realize this, but you went every single game in league, you went for a touchdown that was over 25 yards, including another one against Poly. So you had 6 games where you're busting off touchdowns of more than 25 yards. That's huge. That's a big play guy, especially when you consider you're the number 2 guy behind Damian Henderson last year. how is this going on? How are you able to do that just without any problem at all? I'm not going to say no problem at all, but what is it about your game that allows you to do that kind of thing?
I would say playing behind Damian allowed me to learn more from him, see how he ran, allowed that to apply to me, and how I got better off of it. Even though no matter what team I played, I still got better off of it. Win or lose, I was happy to be, even though it wasn't what I wanted to be, I was happy to be playing, and not really saying scoring, but it was great to be playing and getting playing time with a high-ranked running back like Damian.
So give me an example of the kind of things that you learned from him. You always say that I learned from the guy ahead of me, but we don't really talk about what specifically did you learn. Because, he came from seemed like nowhere to just, heck, he was, I don't know if he didn't break the school record for yards, but, heck, he didn't play every game. Yeah. I think he only played like 9 games, and still his like almost 1,900 yards of rushing in a year. So what was it about him that you learned?
I learned that you don't have to be the biggest to run the most powerful. Because even though he was tall, he wasn't the heaviest.
Right.
But he would run through people, break tackles, and just use his speed to his advantage. So this season and in the league games, I used that to my advantage, my speed and my size, and allowed to keep my feet moving during tackles.
Well, that's what it seems like, is that you're not going down with an arm tackle. There's nobody bringing you down with one arm. That's just not happening. You look a lot bigger this year than you did last year. And it's probably, I'm guessing it's where you two guys working out together.
Yeah. It's not just us, though. It's multiple people. You got me, him, Iverick, Exodus. One of our players last year, he had transferred, but his name is Caleb McCutcheon.
Oh, yeah.
We still work out with him, so, yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's so I'm guessing you're working mostly on legs to be able to break through tackles like that, right?
Yeah.
Even though the legs hurt, we had to. We had to.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things now where you guys are mid-season. We're kind of looking out on the clock. We got Sirr, and then after that, Mission Viejo. Then there's a little bit of a break. Right now, you guys are all pretty fresh. Going back to last year, those 25-yard touchdowns, they didn't just come in any part of the game. The majority of them came in the fourth quarter, like icing the game, just putting it away. And it wasn't like we were in this position. It's like you came on the field, the defense is already like, oh, man, we're up against it. And then all of a sudden, fresh legs, Anthony comes on and, boom, breaks a big one, a touchdown. And it was just became a redundant call for us, just to end the game, like big league, putting them to sleep again, This year you get to start the game, right? A lot of times you get in the football, and then your backup right now is Gerard Terry. Gerard Terry gets the football, and it's a whole different dynamic, different style running. And then Lenny Ibarra as well getting the ball. He's got a unique style that we haven't seen too much of, but definitely you can see him coming out of his shell. He's going to get a lot more carries as the year goes on. We know we stay run heavy. But talk about that running back room. We talked about the competition in the linebacker room, but that running back room being so exciting and just talented in general. What do you guys learn from each other, you and Gerard?
We all learn, like what I learned from Damian, to use our speed. Because Gerard, even though he's on the shorter side, he's on the faster side. Lenny, he's a little bit taller than Gerard, but he has speed and he has a little bit of size to break tackles. So all of us combined is like a 1-2-3 punch.
And when you're a linebacker and you guys have to go against like a backfield, so to say, that would be like that, how hard is it? That was my biggest problem as a linebacker. Like, I can go against a bruiser, but I got to keep my eyes in the backfield to make sure, because if they switch in the scat back, oh my God, I got to play that different. I got to get to a different spot as the outside backer.
Yeah, so talk about that, because they're called the change of pace back. That guy, or the guy runs a different style than Anthony. So Gerard, compare tackling Gerard versus Anthony. How's your game have to be different?
Well, with Anthony, I've been tackling this man for forever, so I know how he runs. Like, he's real, like, I don't know how to explain it. Anthony's real high when he runs. Mm-hmm. Gerard, you got to get real low to get him, so it's all about the legs. I really get him right here in his hip or his legs. Uh-huh. He don't like ankle biters. So yeah.
All right, so you got it for him. You play him up a little bit bigger because he runs taller. Okay.
Right.
Would you say Damian ran the same way? You had to tackle him too as well.
Yeah, but you actually got to hit Damian. You got to wrap up with him because he can get off tackles, but you got to really wrap up.
Okay.
And all three running backs, very strong, stiff arms.
Yeah.
Something you have a little bit different of an angle when you're going at the running back. A lot of times you're getting that, being able to get that, however y'all tackle now. I don't understand it still how you guys switched it and still make it happen, but the stiff arm is something that we've seen each of you guys, Damien, yourself, and Gerard use. Is this something you guys are have a drill for in practice or what?
Yes, we do. It's called the straight arm drill. It's running back and the defender. So we'll run, act like we have a ball or not. We'll extend. If they knock it up, we'll bring it back, then try to extend again or protect the ball.
And the defender is getting his hand, trying to move the stiff arm, and then getting under, getting low. So, yeah, we really we haven't done that drill in a minute, but yeah, we really we worked on that a lot.
Yeah, you can see that you guys are good at utilizing that on offense, and that your guys' strength of doing that is transferred over on defense. We're not getting stiff armed, which is very important.
That can't happen.
Yeah, that's gonna say. I've experienced that once or twice, and it's an embarrassing moment when it's successful.
Now he flat out Derrick Henry, a kid from Western. I remember that pretty clearly. Is that right?
I believe so. But I don't remember.
Yeah, no, that was like, whoa, where did that come from? Again, I just figured that's that strength thing. You guys are working out. I expect we'll probably see that a couple more times this year. See you later. Derrick Henry's one of my favorite guys. Got on my fantasy team, so that guy, what he did to Josh Norman is still one of my favorite things. He just set him off in orbit. So.
And speaking of that, it's NFL week. We got a big week coming up. We got the first week of high school, followed by college, followed by NFL. Is there any guys that you guys really look up to in college or the league right now that you guys like to pattern your game after?
In the league, I would probably say Isaiah Pacheco or Saquon Barkley on how powerful they run. They don't do a lot of moves, but they just run downhill and punish people, which I want to mimic my game off of because they're really great backs to learn off of.
Me personally, my dad, we have been watching this man for ever, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, I just love his technique and the way that he gets off blocks. I want to learn what it actually takes to do that. And so that's really who I really look up to.
Big inspiration.
Yeah. No, he's not the biggest guy out there, but, man, he can move. He's got some technique. Right?
Fast hands. That's what I want to learn.
And so you're really still growing into your body. Both of you guys have really shot up this year as far as height goes, which just means there's more room to put on muscle. And I think it's two great guys to look at to model your game after because your bodies are going to that route. And if they're successful at something, you can find success in that as well.
Yeah. Anthony, there was a guy that I used to watch named Le'Veon Bell, and the way he, you and Gerard are different. The way you hit in the hole. Gerard hits the hole, boom. He's it there and goes. You seem like you're picking a spot and then you're exploding through the hole. Is that true, or am I just begging here?
I would like to say I have patience when I get the ball. I wouldn't say that I was slow when I get the ball, but I would say I'm reading the defense as it opens up because I trust my O-line. I know they're gonna open up something every time, either behind Capono, behind Zion off the edge, behind Tupu off the other guard. No matter where, I just trust my eyes. I trust how it's going to play out in front of them and how I run the ball.
It looks like that. I mean, it's vision. I mean, that's what you'd call it at the NFL level. That's vision to see that. And for me, it reminded me of Le'Veon Bell. That guy was the most vision I'd ever seen. It's like I'm thinking, come on, man, hit the hole. But no, he's got the vision, and all of a sudden he sees the hole, and boom, he goes. And It's just because of that same trust you're talking about. I think. I mean, I'm not a running back. What do I know? But it seems to me like that's a perfect explanation for it.
And when you get past the first level of the line of scrimmage, right? So you got this vision. You're looking for that first block and that first hole. You get to that hole. Now what changes about the vision? Now second level? How does that vision? What happens now?
After I get to that second level, it's just a downhill run because the goal is 5 yards per carry, not for a 60-yard touchdown every play. 5 yards is the goal. If I break it, I break it, which is also good to help us get down the field and score.
Yeah. So right now, you know that you and Gerard are both at 10-plus yards per carry?
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. 10.2 yards a carry.
That's a great stat right there.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, two running backs like that, that's not too bad at all.
So another thing I want to ask you guys, we're going to hold you a little bit longer tonight, and Ken's going to get me for it. But you guys got this special
thing. These guys all night.
This whole team, a lot of the parents coaching, a lot of the parents involved. Your dad, Bruce Bible, was involved and is now doing this thing at Sierra Canyon. But last week we seen him back watching you do your thing, and maybe this week we'll see him again. Anthony, your dad, he's been involved nonstop. We've been seeing a lot of him, talking to him a lot. He's doing the Rep Max, helping out with the website, just really helping get guys those opportunities for the next level in college, which is super respectable in itself, and led by, Poster Boy and yourself, and, your sister doing her thing in Michigan, right? Just like some amazing things going on in small increments that are all adding up to just, add to this amazing year. But you guys get the opportunity to have your dads around all the time, as well as a bunch of other players that have their dads there coaching. And it's like I don't want to say Pop Warner to it, but like it's a high-level professional thing, but having pops around to give their input. And a lot of guys who have played a lot of football, accumulatively over a long period of time, that you guys have trust with. How amazing is that? I don't think any other team in Southern California has this.
I'm blessed to have my dad and his dad also there with us to just give us knowledge of what they've been through and how they can help us what we got to go through and stuff like that. So, yeah.
It's the same thing for me. My dad had played running back in the day, and he teaches me everything I know. And from Bruce, Bruce always tells me to stop tiptoeing. He's making me run even harder.
Yeah.
And when Bruce tells you something, it don't go in one ear and out the other. You listen, right?
Yeah.
You gotta listen.
Yeah.
Gotta listen.
He seems super calm and collected, but so dads like that, when you go home, I know Sirr's had a couple nights where there was no dinner on the table. He was going to sleep hungry because he had to play harder.
You're really right. Yeah.
Sir, I got to ask you one question. All right, who, not on our team, who's the toughest running back that you've had to face?
Toughest running back.
Not on our team. Otherwise, it'd be Anthony, I know. And Anthony, you're going to be thinking about who's the hardest hitter not on our team.
And you're going to have to come back to me on that one.
Okay, we'll give you that. Who's the guys hit you the hardest on some other team?
For me, I would have to say number 44 in Lucerna, the linebacker. He was killing me.
He's a dude.
He was killing me all in the first half. I have to give my props to him on that. He was reading us well. He was beating me to the backfield. He was just beating me up all game. In that second half, we adjusted to it, but I give my props to him.
Yeah, Adrian. I think his name's Adrian Castro. He was a dude.
So it don't have to be this year, or does it have to be?
It could be any year.
So last year, we went to Florida and played against
American Heritage.
American Heritage, and that running back was big.
Yeah,
really big. I was like, is that a D lineman? Like, oh my God, 6'5", just 230 pounds, just running at you.
Yeah, he was different.
He's
a guy.
He's at Ohio State right now. So, he was pretty
Don't you wish you could have got that matchup your senior year, got to fill out a little bit more?
It would have been way better. Me older.
The conditions there when you guys played that game, that was very unique, super hot, humid type game. Did that one take more out of you than a typical game here in California?
It definitely did. Like California, it's like sunny weather. I wouldn't say humid, either rain or sun. In Florida, it rained when the sun was still out. And during the game, it was like 95, very humid. I was dying.
So you guys, hosted Tempview last week. That's a team that had to come, but you guys have experienced having to go out of town to play out of town, and what the extra it takes to get up for the game. Time difference, this, that, the other. Do you feel like you guys used that to your advantage going against Tempview? You knew what they were facing coming in.
Right. Yeah, we did.
We prepared well for them, I believe.
Really did. The weight room.
Yeah.
Weight room really got us right because in the weight room we closed all our doors to make it like really hot. That's what we did for when we went to Florida, because it's like what Coach say, the swamp.
Yeah.
So we made it very hot, and we just keep grinding in there. Every legs, arms.
Hotter it is, the harder everyone's working.
Right.
Man, you guys are really a pleasure to talk to, and get the inside of the game. We don't want to ask you too much about the X's and O's because I know you guys got some things up your sleeve this week. We're going to leave everybody to tune in when we're calling the game and be able to hear that. We'll be releasing this on YouTube for you guys, tag you up in it, make sure that all the family gets to see it and whatnot. And we just appreciate having you guys on. You guys always being solid for us, and we're here to support you guys in your path, right? Not only this year, but the path on to college and whatever else we can do for you guys. So keep doing your thing, keep those grades up, and give Coach Kobe a hard time, the hardest time.
We got you on that one.
Yeah, and we'll all be good.
Thank
From
you.
here on out,
Thank you
we'll
for having us.
definitely anybody you guys want to shout out to before I let you go.
My whole line, coaches,
My
the whole
D-line.
defense.
Oh, that D-line, we didn't get to say much about them, but they've been
D-line.
amazing.
They do so much for the linebackers. It's
They have
incredible.
kept you guys really clean.
Exactly.
It's been
Yep.
amazing. You guys have been able to run around freely and just knock people's heads off. And then you guys are backed up, man. Slaughter back there doing this thing, knocking some heads off, and then you got two check locking people down. You got Isaiah on the other side, interceptions, and just bullying people as well. There's a lot of bullying on this team. I like that. Keep that up, guys.
Whole lot of bullying.
Yeah.
A whole lot of it.
So, that's going to be the theme to this week's show is the bullies. We've got the bullies on today. Well, on the offensive side and defensive side, man, as a linebacker, I'm trying to go up against Anthony. Actually, very similar running style to a guy I went up against named Eddie Pleasant. Very forward running, knock you on your butt. And he wanted to go to the house as well. Ended up going to the NFL. So, something we can all aspire to be, but a local guy who can make it out, show these kids, come to Los Alamitos, and we do it right.
Right.
But pleasure having you guys. On that note, we'll put a wrap on this week's show. I'd like to say thank you to tonight's guests, coaches TJ Fenton and Mario Morales, and, of course, our players, Anthony Legue and Sirr Bible, and to our hosts at Griffin's Grill and sponsor of the Showdown Series. Be sure to join us for next week's show as we'll have Gerard Terry and Isaiah Rubin joining us. For Kent Bickel, this is Justin Connolly saying thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here again next week for another edition of the Coaches Show.
Thank you.
Man,